Flowers, rather daisies, were the first thing to be forgotten by the time we left that little brick house in the middle of nowhere. I was too young to understand what was happening. I woke up one morning and I wasn't in the same house anymore. I recognized the cream color of the walls and the burning cherry blossom candles that filled my nostrils. I loved it, and I hugged my bear excitedly when I saw the house owners in the kitchen. I recognized them immediately as
my sister and I had shared glances before heading to the kitchen to get whatever sugar and snacks we could pull from my grandma. And as all grandmas do, mostly, they give whatever sugar they want to their grandkids. I was 6 years old at the time.
6.5, as I always argued, so of course I was begging for sugar. I have this vivid memory of the events afterwards. My father entering the kitchen, yelling about how I shouldn't be eating sugar and that my sister is too chubby to be eating any. I finished my cookie, but my younger sister ended up throwing her cookie away. I remember my grandparents and father starting to argue. I tuned out the argument's details, but I remember crying as my father stormed out. My dad returned a few hours later. No one knows what he did or where he went. All we know is that he left. My younger sister and I didn't know what happened, so we assumed that we would no longer get to see our mother and that our father hates us, which we now understand isn't the case. But we learned the hard way that our father's apologetic tones and explanations for his anger outbursts were simply an act of manipulation. Roughly around the start of 6th grade at a private Catholic school, I started having changes in both my mental and physical state. I didn't really care about anything. I was constantly tired and overall sad. I was in a depressive state. But my father said, "It's just because you're a teenager," and brushed off the signs. My mother found out about the slits on my legs and my arms, and though I couldn't really feel the pain, I felt the urge to feel anything but hatred and anger. My father didn't listen. Time and time again, I was begging for his help in a secretive plea, only to find out he knew and he didn't care. I hid my feelings well, leading others to believe I was fine, until one of the cuts reopened and I was humiliated in front of the class. My teacher rolled up my sleeves and proceeded to verbally harass me, as it wasn't the Catholic way to live.
The break of life and death caused by emotional, verbal, and sometimes physical abuse from both my father
and stepmother over the span of 4 years is enough for me to say goodbye. The only motivation I have now is my future, that's holding on by a string of hope. I realized that if I didn't mean that much, then I should lose my lack of a meaningful body for something good, something that would end up potentially killing me early while giving me motivation to thrive. I had decided that I would be at the hands of God in a merciless war, the war of survival and chance, with a rifle in hand and a rank on my chest. The military was my fate. By the beginning of 8th grade, my scars had begun to heal, and I was starting to see the light of life again. But later that year, we moved. Overall in life, we have moved 5 times and have been to 5 different schools, not staying in one for more than 2 years, only one being 3 years. The 4th time we moved, my sister and I met our stepmother, who we really liked, but she didn't like us, me more specifically. She singled me out on everything, leaving me behind on fun things, neglecting me, and making my dad hate me more. After 4 years of knowing her, she finally said something to me that made me realize my place on Earth. If you weren't here, we would be a happy family. Those words broke me, causing a painful relapse, though now I don't hurt myself. Instead, I have sought out professional help to prevent any more damage to myself. I have to give my mom and stepdad credit for being there for me along the way, always being the shoulder to lean on, even if times are rough for them too. We arrived at our new house. I glanced around and realized our bedroom is in the finished basement. My stepmom had put us in the basement to keep us out of sight. It hurt a bit, but the further away I am from her, the further I am away from hurting. Though now we can't even eat certain things if my dad did buy it, or sit on the couch. But who needs an open space of comfortability when our bedrooms provide a comfortable asylum? A fresh start. Wouldn't that be nice? Everything that happened previously would never happen again. Going to a school where I feel accepted and welcomed, loved and cared for, everything I'm not at home. Well, at least at my dad's house. There was a ring at the doorbell that I didn't even know we had, but no one was home, so I answered it. Sandy, my neighbor, decided to greet the family moving next door. She thought it would be nice to get to know us, and of course she brought us a gift. Her and I conversed for a few moments before she handed over the gift that was previously held tightly in her grasp. I stared at the gift, my face filled with happiness. Memories, sweet memories, came to my mind with the gift in my hands. The memories were filled with yelling in the background, but all I could think about was one thing as I held the gift. Flowers. A beautiful bouquet of daisies in my hands. Traumatic experiences are generally not talked about, as we are to believe they are not okay to talk about or gaslighted into thinking the experience was normal and everyone has had one like it. This goes to show, please speak out about your struggles because we do care.